Hello.
Hey everybody, we're back again to talk a little NCAA college football. We are already up into week 15.
We're nearing the end of
We
the
are
season.
nearly. They're actually only 16 weeks, so we've only got 2 weeks left counting this weekend.
Plus the bowl games. The bowl games are always fun.
Bowl games are going to be weird this year. There's been a lot of bowl games canceled too, and there's going to be a lot of teams going to bowl games that only have 3, 4, 5 wins because we're only having some people are only playing 5 or 6 games, so some people are only playing 10 games. So we may have people going to bowl games with 2 wins.
That's bizarre.
It's bizarro world, but at least it's more football. So at least we get some more football. But before we get into all that,
we can see the crappiest teams finally get their victories.
yes, but hey, it's football. I'm not going to complain about having extra football, even if it is crappy teams. But like I said, before we get into that, we do have to recap week 14.
And go ahead to week 15.
And then we'll jump into week 15 here in just a second. Let's go ahead and jump in. Last Friday night, we had Louisiana playing Appy State. Louisiana, the Raging Cajuns.
The spicy habaneros, as I like to call them.
Yes.
They took an intentional safety and then had a defensive stop. People were questioning their head coach about that intentional safety. Oh, the intentional safety almost lost you the game. It didn't.
It didn't. It won the game. So good teams find a way to win. The Raging Cajuns are actually a pretty good little team this year.
They beat Iowa State, which is number 7.
Yeah, which is
weird.
None of that makes sense, man. None of that makes sense. Let's jump on into our Saturday games. Ohio State finally played another game
without their head coach Ryan Day,
and without
a good chunk of their
offense, but still put 52 up on Michigan State because Michigan State is that
bad.
Michigan State has won.
We'll talk about Ohio State later because something big happened for them this week.
Yeah, we'll jump into that when we start the new week. But Ohio State, either Ohio State's good or Michigan State's bad. I think Michigan State is just that. Well, Michigan State's won 1 game.
Yeah. Around 2 or 1 games.
Yeah, and that's pretty bad. So Ohio State did win though. So we had Texas A&M at Auburn.
Finally, it looked somewhat.
They looked decent.
The run game was what helped them in this game.
I actually picked Auburn in this just because I didn't know. I was hoping.
At once, Auburn thought the little trail mix they picked out of the bag was a nice, delicious M&M, right?
Nope.
It was really a raisin.
It was a raisin disguised as an
M&M.
As an M&M. You bit into that thinking, oh, M&M. Nope. Old, dried, crusty raisin. I like raisins, but this one's just, what? It almost breaks. It's so dry. That's what Auburn is, a trail mix, man. You never know. You can reach in that bag and you never know what you're going to get out of the bag with Auburn. I thought after being so bad last week, we might get an M&M.
Alabama, and then they get whipped by Texas A&M.
No, I think that they're just that team. I think
middle of the road.
They are what
flat.
You are what your record says you are.
And Auburn is not a ranked team.
Auburn is not a ranked team. We had Okie State take on TCU.
Upset alert.
TCU, them Horned Frogs.
The Horned Frogs get a big victory.
And the Horned Frogs were having a bad year. So that's a bad loss.
The mullet could not handle the spiny frogs.
The poisoned frogs killed the cowboy. TCU pulled the upset in that one, 29-22.
There's no post-game speech in the world that can help them if they
I'm a man! We are a man that lost to some old bad frogs. So we had Western North Carolina take on North Carolina. North Carolina looked good in there because Western Carolina is
awful.
They're an awful team, man. 49-9.
They're the biggest Jekyll and Hyde team in college football, North Carolina.
Yeah.
They could look great one week and then look like a pile of dookie the next.
I think they're a young team that's on the verge of being a good team. I think they're on the verge of breaking out.
I agree with that. Mac Brown is a solid coach. He's proven that over the years.
Some people thought it might have been this year that they broke out. No, it's probably going to be next.
It's probably going to be next year.
Yeah, but he's got a lot of good young talent coming in. May even be year after next when he has that spam year. But I think they're definitely an up-and-coming team. We had Rice at Marshall. This is the surpriser to me. Marshall's been mowing through people, and they scored.
That was not the case on Saturday.
They scored 0 points against Rice, and Rice is a bad team.
Do you know Do you want to know what this game was like? You just look at the quarterback stats, and that will tell you more than you need to know.
What happened to Marshall's quarterback?
Count them for me, folks. All the interceptions.
How many we have?
Give me a 1. Give me a 2. Give me a 3.
Ooh.
Give me a 4.
Ooh.
Give me a 5.
Ow! 5 interceptions? That's pretty bad.
Especially against a 1-win Rice
Against
team.
An undefeated team lost to a 1-win
Rice
team
Owls.
and threw 5 picks.
That's awful.
That's bad. That is some horrible.
That is a stinker.
That is from ranked number 21 to out of the rankings, probably. We had Syracuse take on Notre Dame. Notre Dame
put the whipping on them. They
should
shamrock
have.
danced all over them and had some good old Irish tradition.
They should have. I mean, Syracuse is not a good team. And Notre Dame, you know, sometimes we play around with Notre Dame because everybody says they got a great team, and then they end up not having a good team. Notre Dame's got a good team this year. They're pretty good. They're actually a pretty good team.
Could that help them against Clemson? Maybe not.
With Trevor Lawrence coming back, I don't know, maybe not. But that is going to be a very, very interesting
first ACC
game.
title game in a while that hasn't been either Clemson against Virginia or Clemson against
Clemson, because nobody was going to beat them because there was nobody else good in the ACC.
Last year, at least.
Yeah, last year.
But this year,
yeah. We had Florida, Tennessee, and just like we said, Florida beat Tennessee.
But they didn't beat them by the script.
They did not cover the line because of the last-second touchdown that Tennessee put on them. Oh, that break line. It was an 18-point line, and the last-second garbage touchdown.
But Jeremy Pruitt and his team is falling off the rails.
Oh, yeah. And
Florida is looking to prepare for the SEC title.
I think Florida's got a chance in the SEC title, but we'll talk about it later. We had West Virginia, Iowa State. That's a beatdown, 42-6.
Jeez. Iowa State's finally playing up to their potential, maybe?
I don't know. I still don't trust them.
The Cyclones?
I still don't trust them because they've never done it before, so why would I trust them now to do it? Because since they've never done it before. But they actually might have a good team. This is 2020, man. They might win the Big 12. They're still not going to get them into the playoffs, but they might win the Big 12. We had Indiana, Wisconsin.
Defense-only game.
14-6.
Defense-only game, and Indiana just had enough, even with losing their quarterback for the year with ACL tear.
Yeah, but they did lose their defense.
They didn't lose their defense.
Only gave up 6 points to Wisconsin's running game, and that's
Wisconsin is having an off year this year.
Yeah. Of course, everybody's got a little bit of an off year. We had Iowa. Iowa at Illinois. Iowa won 35-21.
Illinois got a decent basketball team, but their football team is anything but decent.
It's not that good this year. No, the Fighting Illini are not.
The Hawkeyes have always been there and always been a decent team. Iowa.
Yeah, the black and yellow.
The Hawkeyes.
The Hawkeyes. We had Tulsa Navy.
The Hurricanes stormed into the Navy Harbor, and what do you expect?
Yeah, Navy lost most of their players from last year, so Navy's really not a good team.
Honor the naval midshipmen that fight for our country.
Yes. We had Stanford, Washington. Upset. Stanford beat Washington. Of course, we don't know what we got out there because they're playing.
The Pac-12 is literally just a crock pot of mediocrity right now.
It is. It's like there's going to be a bunch of out there. The Pac-12 is a little.
The Pac-12 is the worst Power 5 conference in America right now.
It is, yes.
It's probably worse than the American.
It honestly probably is. It probably is. We had BYU, Coastal Carolina. Man, what a game.
What an exciting game.
What a game.
The Fancy Chickens against the Mormons.
The Fancy Chickens pulled it out. A game set up on Tuesday. They played on Saturday. Because both of them were like, hey, we're both undefeated. Dude, let's go.
Let's go.
I admire both of them for doing that. They took a game on 4 days' notice and said, let's go, baby.
Let's go.
And Coastal Carolina
pulled it
out at the end. So the Fancy Chickens
are riding high.
Right now. Those Chanticleers.
They're winning me over week by week.
They are, man. I didn't know who they were that much before this season. And now I would buy me a T-shirt.
Buy me a Fancy Chicken T-shirt.
Buy me a Fancy Chicken T-shirt.
Victorious Chanticleers.
The Victorious. We had Oregon, Cal. Man, Oregon has fallen completely off the map. I thought Oregon was going to spend this season being a pretty good team.
and it's just fallen to tatters.
No, I think they lost their quarterback to the NFL last year.
He's doing pretty good for the Chargers.
He's doing pretty good for the Chargers, and the new quarterback is not doing that good for Oregon.
Not doing that good.
No. We had Clemson, Virginia Tech, and of course they beat them 45-10.
Virginia Tech took the whole game, took a shotgun, and boom, boom, boom.
That was the
boom,
end
right
of
to
it.
their foot.
That was the end of it. Yeah.
Fumbles all over the place for the Hokies.
They dropped the ball.
It got so bad that they had the sprinklers come up in the middle of the game.
Oh, did you see that? The sprinklers came on and started wetting the field in the middle of the game.
The Hokies.
That is so horrible. They soaked them. That was bad. Alabama, LSU, exactly what we thought would happen.
This was an absolute slaughtering.
55-17.
I can't tell you how many offensive touchdowns Alabama scored.
No, I lost. I can't count that high. My mathing's not that good.
The tide rolled so much that I think the ocean just covered the entire grass.
They did, and Alabama is actually that good. Alabama.
If you look at
honestly, Alabama, I think, is the best team in the country right now. That's sad to say as it is. I think they are.
Well, then again, Florida is pretty good. So, as Tennessee fans, seeing Alabama and Florida play in the SEC title game once again.
Exactly. we had Miami at Duke. 48 to.
At last, Miami finally got that deciding win they needed.
Yeah, against a really bad Duke team though.
With no talent.
With no talent. Duke lost all of their talent last year and the year before. They're in complete rebuild mode right now.
And Miami proved that they're the better football team. And they've actually got a decent team, the Hurricanes.
Yeah, honestly, the ACC is probably the second strongest.
Improved.
It's the second strongest conference, probably behind the ACC.
They're the most improved conference if you look at it from top to bottom.
If you think about it, normally the Big Ten is the second biggest. But this year, Penn State's horrible, Michigan State's horrible, Michigan's horrible.
Ohio State's pretty much the only person.
Ohio State's and Indiana's like the next level down. Indiana's sort of
quarterback.
Yeah, and then they lost their quarterback. So Ohio State is probably the only good team
that they
have. And the ACC's got Miami, Notre Dame,
North Carolina,
Clemson, North Carolina. So yeah, ACC is actually probably the second strongest conference this year. And that's not a normalcy, but they are this year.
Well, keep it up. Keep improving, ACC.
Yep. And then last we had Baylor, Oklahoma. Oklahoma won by 13. Baylor is really bad this year.
Oklahoma and Iowa State are set to duke it out for the Big 12 title. Both of them have 2 losses, and both of them need a prayer to get into the playoff.
And then we had a game on Sunday, Washington State, USC. USC won handily. USC might be the best team in the Pac-12,
even though they win by luck.
Even though they're really not that good, but that's probably the best team out there, though.
Yeah,
they're really bad. And then we had 2 games that we didn't get to have, and this is the difference between the Big Ten and the SEC. Northwestern Minnesota was canceled. The game will not be played. And the SEC, Vanderbilt, Georgia, was postponed because they started early enough to have some time to redo the games.
Incoming rant. The Big Ten's management really needed to do a better job. They needed to start where the SEC and the ACC and the Big 12 started.
Yeah, we will jump into Week 15 because that was all of those. And our rant is the Big Ten starting 3-4 weeks later than everybody. And now they're getting games canceled and they have to cancel their games because of COVID. They can't replay them because they don't have enough time to make them up.
And they can't squeeze them
because it started so late. So now we're going to have teams that played 5 games the entire year trying to get into the playoffs.
Even though that's not enough of a tablespoon in my
opinion. Yeah. How can you earn your way in if you play 5 to 6 games?
I guess you might be referring to one team in particular.
Well, there's only one good team in the Big Ten, Ohio State.
And the golden child of the Big Ten themselves.
A canceled game this week is Michigan-Ohio State, so that game cannot be played.
Under the normal strike rule that was there at one point.
You have to play at least 6 games to be eligible to play in the Big Ten title, but now they...
Remember that rule?
No, I don't, because they kicked it because Ohio State is only going to be able to play 5 now. So now they're probably going to let Ohio State play in the Big Ten title game, and they've only played 5 games the entire year. So if they win the Big Ten title, then they're obviously going to be available to play in the college playoffs. So we're going to have a team that's played
6 games.
6 games with 0 competition. I mean, you're talking about beating a 2-win Michigan State, a 1-win Penn State. The only team they beat that was decent was Indiana, and they
had
struggled against that one.
So with that resume, I don't think
With that resume, how do you earn your way into the championship?
I'm trying to be realistic. Just looking at that schedule is just...
So you're going to leave out either Florida
or Alabama
or Notre Dame or Clemson so you can get in Ohio State, who's played 6 games.
That would be unfair to those other teams because they played longer and they felt like they've deserved a spot.
Exactly. So this year is going to be some mad people. If my Tennessee team, that's laughable, it was good enough to make it to the playoffs, and they were just on the outside because you're going to let in a 6-game team that's played nobody.
There's going to be some pet peeves.
I would not be too happy about it. So there's probably going to be some
pet
either
peeves.
Notre Dame or Clemson or Florida fans out there that are not going to be too happy about missing the playoffs because of
Ohio State. The golden child of the Big Ten.
Of course. Well, let's jump into our predictions and quick ranting, and y'all can have some fun with this. We got Alabama, Arkansas, 35 points. I would pick 35 points.
Alabama's got so many offensive weapons that Arkansas would not be able to catch.
Alabama wants to keep number 1 in the rankings, number 1 in everything, so they will beat the tires off of that car.
Off of the Arkansas.
Yes. Those pigs are going to be Oscar Mayer Franks when it's all over with. They're going to cook those babies. It'll be. The line's 32. I think they'll cover it. We got Georgia, Missouri.
Missouri squeaks in the top 25 at the very bottom.
Yeah, Missouri at number 25.
Georgia is going to win that football game pretty easy.
Yeah, they've found their quarterback now. The line's only 13.5. Do you think Georgia will beat Missouri by 13.5? I think they will. I think I would pick Georgia in that one. We got Illinois, Northwestern.
Northwestern doesn't have an offense. They have a defense, but their offense is non-existent. But I think they win this game.
But Illinois won 2 all year. Of course, they've only played 6.
Because the Big Ten.
Because of the Big Ten. Northwestern should win that. Utah, Colorado. I don't know enough about them, but Colorado's 4-0 and Utah's 1-2. So I'm gonna take Colorado.
Take the Buffs.
Take the Buffs, yeah. They're only favored by 2.5, so that's a pretty easy one. And like we mentioned, Michigan State, Ohio State is canceled. They can't redo it.
That's the biggest victory that Jim Harbaugh, bigger game Jim, has had.
Yeah, that's sad. That's Michigan's biggest win this whole year is not playing. Oklahoma, West Virginia has been canceled. I don't know why that one's canceled. They could have probably remade that up, but. Now, here's the game of the week. Coastal Carolina, those fancy chickens.
The fancy chickens out of Coastal Carolina. America's team right now.
Yes, taking on Troy. I'm taking Coastal Carolina.
Take the chickens.
I'm going all the way, baby. I wish there was enough playoffs to let those chickens play a top 5 team.
Let the Coastal Carolina Chanticleers play Alabama.
Let them play, baby. I want to see it.
They want Bama.
We want Bama. I don't know if they really do or not, but come on. That's a... and probably in one of the really, really good games of the week, we got North Carolina ranked 17 at Miami ranked number 10. So 2 of the good ACC teams are playing each other this week. Miami.
I'm going to pick the Tar Heels.
Oh, you want to go with the upset?
I'm going to go with the Tar Heels. I feel me as some Tar Heels.
Miami is favored by 3, so you're +3 on that one. You got 3 points to play with.
I'm going to pick Carolina.
We will go with Carolina.
Not Coastal, but North Carolina.
Hey, we got a Carolina feel here, don't we? Wisconsin, Iowa. That's a tough one to pick. Wisconsin's only played 4 games. Iowa's played 7.
And I'm going to pick Iowa because Wisconsin's offense has struggled.
Again, you got 2 points to play with, so you're even Iowa +2 on that one. We got Okie State, Baylor.
Oklahoma State, pretty big.
I think they'll win that one. Yeah, I don't think they're going to lose 2 in a row, no. Purdue, Indiana is canceled. Cincinnati, Tulsa canceled. Texas, Kansas is canceled. We got LSU, Florida by a country mile. Florida, again, is trying to win their way into the tourney. So they will win this handily. They will try to win by 30-plus points. And I think
they have the offense to do that.
They've definitely got the offense, too. And they don't have much of a defense. Of course, LSU's not got much of an offense. So they should win this pretty easily. USC, UCLA. I'm going to go with USC. They seem to be the better team out there. Again, I don't know.
Yeah, but Chip Kelly's team has flown off the wheels.
They have, yeah. They have completely flown off the wheels.
At least Jeremy Pruitt had a winning season.
Well, UCLA's 3-2. But that will be 3-3 after this week. Ole Miss, Texas A&M, the SEC difference, postponed, not canceled. Then we got San Diego State, BYU by a country mile. They're going to try to bounce back after that.
That tough loss to the fancy chickens.
The Chanticleers. I never knew what a Chanticleer was until this year. Now I know it's a really nice-looking chicken.
It's not KFC style.
Not KFC. It's
fight.
beautiful. It's a fighting chicken. It's a really nice looking, fancy fighting chicken. I like that. But anyways, that's all the NCAA for this week. We hope you had a little fun with us.
Press the like button. Hit the subscribe button for more. And send a comment down below for any what you think is going to happen this week.
Yeah. Tell us if we're good or if we're bad or for whatever we're going to say. But hit the groovy maybe button over here somewhere.
On my face.
Yeah. Other than that, we'll see you next week for some more college football.
See you next week.